But he's not asking that, he's asking what does it mean?
Who can ever experience death?
Sorry.
It's very, very.
Sorry, I find it not
You
very.
can't experience it.
I find it not very beneficial.
It's an abstract concept.
Do you find it beneficial to continue?
So I appreciate that you're wanting to get involved, but I think if you sort of miss each other's questions, you can't really sort of gain any real benefit from it. No, but to be fair,
How can I answer something when your terms is quite vague? You need to explain to me what you mean by.
It's very simple. Right?
Okay,
I said to you,
thank you.
Death doesn't exist.
So you're asking me something, or are you making a statement?
Let me carry on. You can't experience something that doesn't exist. It's impossible. That's why we're all alive. There's only life. That's it.
Okay. Initially, you asked me a question, right?
Someone can say definition of death.
You asked me, does death
Someone
exist?
can say definition of death.
Thank you.
To the other side.
Qualify your term
That's
death.
why he needs to
What it
define
means.
what he's saying. I see what you're saying.
It doesn't exist. It's an abstract concept.
Okay. But would you say it's a word that we use to describe the point from which we as humans move from existence into non-existence, or if you're religious, then from this existence into some other plane of existence. I would say it's just a word to describe a change of state. Does that satisfy you?
Yeah, a little bit. Right. That's semantics.
Well, it's everything's semantics. Yeah.
The reality is, all I'm saying, I'll repeat it over and over again, and nobody understands this. Very few people. Death doesn't exist.
I agree with you.
You're not going to experience something that's not there. It's absolutely impossible.
Non-existent.
So basically, you're asking me.
Yeah,
So you're asking me this question.
yeah.
So you're asking me this question.
A child could understand.
Okay. Tell me when you're finished.
I'll finish.
Okay. So you asked me a question about something that doesn't exist. Does something doesn't exist exist?
It's the point you close.
Please. Your question to me is for me to answer. Something that doesn't exist, does it exist?
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah? That's what you're asking me.
Something that doesn't exist doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. So you're saying no. You're saying something doesn't exist, does it exist? Okay, let me tell you why your question is not a question, it's a rhetorical statement. To be a question, a statement to qualify into a question, sorry I have to give you this information. It has to have two essential properties. Two essential properties. Number one, it has to have potential answers, and it must be free from internal contradiction. For example, if I ask you, and you, how many legs does the sun walk upon? 2 or 3?
You can answer
Now,
that.
wait. So, is my statement a question? I'm asking I'm framing it like a question, and I'm even giving you options. 2 or 3 legs does the sun walk upon?
It's a silly question.
No, it's not a question. It's not a question. The reason why it's not a question is this.
Question.
I'll tell you why it's not a question. Because a question must be free from internal contradiction. The sun, please, the sun does not have legs. I cannot then ask, how many legs does it walk upon? 2 or 3? When we affirm the sun doesn't have legs. It's a meaningless rhetoric.
A nonsensical question might as well be not a question, I think, basically. You could say it's meaningless.
It's a rhetorical statement.
Yeah,
So when you ask me a rhetorical statement, you actually haven't asked me a question to answer. So I am not obliged to answer anything because there was no question asked. So come back to you, my friends. Jacob.
Yes. What did we? I can't remember.
We were talking about how do non-existence come into existence or become existence
Right.
in your model?
Yes, I forgot what I was speaking about, but essentially, I think I'm trying to explain that time may be shaped as such that it's finite but without boundary, which means you don't need to ask, where did existence begin, but you also don't need to ask the question of, but is it infinite or not?
You're going in a different way of solving the equation. Remember, when you have an equation, you can either way start, right, from each other and see whether it works.
Yeah.
I am asking you
It might be an absurd equation.
No, I'm asking you to start from this position, non-existence.
Yeah.
Right, so you have non-existence to begin with. Non-existence. Like my wallet with no money, for example. Now, how do we get money from my wallet when there's no money? You have non-existence, how do you even get a boundaryless or infinite time? How do you even get to that point when you begin with non-existence?
Based on that model, because that's a model concerning time, there may not have been non-existence to begin with.
You see, I'm finding it very strange to discuss with you, Jacob. I said there are two binary propositions in terms of our existence. One is always existence, another is not. So we are talking about the position where it's not always existence. In that position, you're jumping back to the other position. You're saying, no, that's not. That's what I'm trying to arrive at.
Okay.
When we use our mind, our intellect, our rational faculties, you will see that second alternative doesn't make sense. You have to resort back to the first alternative, meaning the only viable, rational explanation, the only alternative. You keep saying, oh, in this, but it's that. That means the proposition of the second alternative is not an alternative. It's not something that you can even discuss or even argue for. You're actually arguing for the other one. I
don't know which I'm arguing for.
No, okay. I'm saying if you really analyze each one in turn, and we did the one which is there was non-existence to begin with. If you analyze it, you know that this is not something that any rational human being can accept. If you say that rational human being can accept that model, I would like to know rational arguments that non-existence can become existence. Which rational arguments can you use to come forward with this particular concept?
I don't know. My closest thing I can
Bring
say...
your friends and philosophers and scientists in here, but start with non-existence and then arrive at existence.
Stephen Hawking was never my friend, unfortunately. But
doesn't matter. What we're saying is support us.
Right.
Remember, in the Quran, it's quite interesting. I'm going to tell you something about the Quran. In the Quran, when Allah says, when Allah challenges people to bring a chapter like into the Quran, because the Quran, we Muslims believe that it is something of a divine origin, that it cannot be a product of anything of the creation. To lend credibility and support of this divine authenticity and divine origin, right? And when the Quran, when Allah actually speaks about this, He says, those of you who are in doubt that this is not from God, to His servant Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then what they have to do is produce a chapter like unto it, and if they cannot do it themselves, they can seek helpers and supporters to this job. So it's a standard principle in the Quran. When we are discussing something, if I'm not unable to, I can seek support. You can seek support from philosophical models or from models from science. Give us a rational explanation how non-existence can become existence. Get your support. I have no problem with that. Because personally, you might have exhausted all possibilities what you've read, but there might be someone there who said, look, okay, but I think this person, Feynman, or this philosopher, this is what he put forward. This is why you can ask, but you need to start with non-existence.
Okay, well, in the context of your question, I need to start from
Yes.
non-existence.
Yes.
Personally, because I'm not a physicist and I'm not a philosopher and I'm not a theologian, I can't tell you. I'm
Right.
not.
So-
But no one can.
So that means, think about now, in any
You can.
kind of rational basis,
Right.
science has to be rational, by the way. In
Right,
any
yeah.
rational basis, we cannot see how non-existence can become existence. That's what you're telling me. You are actually,
Well, I'm not science.
it's not about science
I know.
only. Rationality can be even purely from
No,
philosophical.
I think what you're saying then now is you're looking at things from, you see, a natural mind. But you see, if you look on a thing of a spiritual mind, you will see things differently. You see, unless
I don't think that's what he...
but what I say, it applies. If we look at things from our natural self, you see, a natural mind, we're limited. We have limits in our understanding. Okay, you got quite intelligent people. I'm not disrespecting, but you see, there is something outside that, something greater. There's an understanding, you see, in a spiritual realm, like you see, that you can see, it opens it up to a different, understanding of things. Like that's an expert from what you're saying there. When you said about you're looking at the natural understanding of human beings, but there is something greater.
To understand the natural world, though, naturalism is a pretty good model.
Oh, well,
That's what it means.
in a way, yeah. But as far as it goes, you see, you can understand things. But what I'm saying to you is that there's greater. There's more to be. There's more to understand. You know what I mean?
Is there?
And yes, there is. Yeah, there is.
there?
But you would have to experience it. Like that. When people tell you certain things, like you see how you can come to understand it, like how to open yourself up to that. Like,
This-
yeah.
presume from you presumes supernaturalism. From your perspective, naturalism. So there is going to be this conflict. You have to
here, but he
one
went
of these models, and these models will
I think he's gone home, yeah.
essentially, by their ideological concepts, they will conflict.
By definition.
If
really,
you,
yeah.
by definition,
that
if you are
is true,
naturalist,
of course.
there are no supernaturalists.
No, it is true.
So you're saying there are some
yeah,
supernaturalists because that's your perspective.
But
that's not.
Let
I'm
me- let
arguing.
me just
No,
tell you,
he's right what he's saying,
naturalism is a perfectly reasonable position to hold because all you can observe in your life is natural. It's
Yeah,
part of the
yeah,
natural world.
that is
so you've
true.
got no
Yeah.
reason to believe in anything.
No,
that's
there is,
supernatural.
because what I'm saying to you, having experience with this for myself, you see, it's not what someone else might tell me. Yeah, okay, I have been told certain things, but then I decided, I made the choice to, you see, to search and to listen to what certain people told me. And then certain things I think I believe to be true, and have the experience. It opened me up to understand it. You know, if I look back on my life a good many years ago when I was much younger, and I come to understand things that I didn't understand then. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. That's right.
Yeah.
Depends on where we're coming from, right? Okay. So, essentially, from a rational perspective, from a rational standpoint, you at this very minute cannot bring something that can be justifiable, even to your own satisfaction, that non-existence can be.
Oh, I'm sorry, mate. Sorry.
This will be also my argument for you to think and reflect. If you think and reflect that, rationally speaking, that doesn't seem to be a viable alternative. It doesn't seem to be something appealing to our mind or intellect. What appeals rather, that non-existence cannot come into existence. There has to be something that brought this existence into its existence. So what makes sense is there has always been something in existence. Because otherwise we have the problem of like nothing creates something. Nothing generates something. When we know that it doesn't make sense. So
to the natural mind doesn't make
to
sense.
recourse to this scientific nothing using the definitions of Lawrence Krauss doesn't help, because we can bring Lawrence Krauss back to the real definition of nothing, what we mean by nothing. Nothing is nothing. Absolutely absence of everything. That cannot give anything. In fact, we don't observe anything in our reality. In our reality, that pops into existence from nothing. Because those particles that comes, they actually doesn't come from nothingness. It's just a transformation from one state to the other.
We don't know that actually. We actually don't know that.
So if you say that, that means non-existence became existence.
Quite possibly.
How? How do you have?
don't know.
No. You see,
These are
if
good
you-
questions.
No,
These are
if
good
you
questions,
if you
actually. Good questions,
bring this particular proposition, you have to make sense of it. When you have absolute nothingness, non-existence, how do existence come from non-existence? When
Because it was
has
created.
no energy, it has no gravity, no quanta, no fluctuations, nothing.
Technically, the universe has no energy either.
No, please. Let's not go into energy. Let's talk about particles.
Sure.
These particles, virtual particles, if they were nothing to begin with, they won't transform into existence, because it has nothing to transform into, because it's simply the absence of, as I said, quanta, or gravity, or fluctuation. Okay, these three terms will be sufficient to describe and refute or reject the idea that it's possible.
Can I ask you a question? Do you believe in miracles?
I'm a Muslim, I do, yes.
You do? Okay.
So
That's
let's
a bit
come
of a
back.
different.
Is it? So I think you misunderstood me in the first place. Okay. Miracles, by definition, are extra-natural events. Okay? So against the question of naturalism and supernaturalism. So that means the other proposition, now let's return to the other proposition.
No, but I'm not satisfied by your explanation of the particles. I'm sorry that you could say,
So you have-
there's
you
no
have-
explanation for it,
No.
therefore that's their nature, and we know for certain they can't pop into
So
existence.
basically, let's understand that again then.
Yeah.
You have non-existent particle, meaning they don't exist. They have no energy. They have no gravity or fluctuation. There is nothing involved. How do you get particles coming from that state?
I don't know, but
I don't know, it's not an answer.
But
it is an answer.
No, it's not an
You
answer.
can't.
Listen,
If you think you could just say you know to everything.
No, Jacob, listen.
Yeah.
If I go into an exam, an exam is mathematics. Question number 1. It has 4 multiple choice questions, and I answer none of them. Is that a right answer? Or if I say, they say, what do you mean by this, whatever, right? And I say, I don't know.
Yeah.
That is not the right answer.
If
Yeah,
you don't
no,
know, then
it's
it's not.
wrong,
But
though.
it's not.
No, if
The
you
fact
don't
that it's
know,
on a
listen,
mathematical
yeah,
question
listen.
paper means that there is someone who does know.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but
Mate,
these
can I ask a
questions are
question?
going to
The
be.
moment you say,
course.
I don't know,
Yes.
it's the wrong answer. It's not the right answer to the question,
Can I
is
ask
it?
him a question,
Only if the
Mansur?
question is a question that can actually be answered.
Please, please.
For now.
When I ask you this question about how non-existence become existence,
Yeah.
now if you say I don't know, it's the wrong answer.
No, it's not.
It's simply you're having no knowledge of the right answer.
Yeah, but that's the difference.
That's the wrong
If-
answer.
Yeah, no, it is for him. It's the right answer for you, isn't
right
it?
answer.
If you don't know, you don't know.
No,
Simple
no,
as
it's
that.
my answer that nobody knows.
No,
as of yet.
no, hang on,
People
no.
used to not
No,
know
no,
a lot of different
no, it
things.
doesn't mean that nobody
The
knows.
question I
Sorry,
ask you is
sorry.
different.
Yeah.
When,
Yeah, it is.
when there is a question with potential answers,
Yes.
right? I don't know is a potential answer, but it's not the right answer.
Well, okay, it's
He
not the
knows
right
the,
thing
but,
that I
okay,
could say.
right. Okay, what day is it today is a question, right? Okay,
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
potential answers are, because we, in our calendar,
I'm by the,
there are only 7 days by name, right?
I'm by the
From
toilet.
Sunday to Monday, right? It could be any of them. If I say, he knows, that's a potential answer. But is that the right answer to my question, what day is it today? If I say, I don't know, there are only answers, right answers are, it's Sunday. Or it could be Monday, whatever, right? If I say I don't know, that wasn't the right answer, Jacob.
You know where the toilets are?
It's not the right answer.
No, it's not the answer. It's not the answer to the question. It's not correct.
Thank you. Not the correct answer. So I don't know is not the correct answer to the question of how does
But
non-existence
it's
become part of
incorrect because I'm saying that I'm unable to answer the question in the first place. That's just semantics.
It is not. It is
Sorry?
not.
What did, his answers to what?
Look,
Alright then, okay, alright.
it is essential that if non-existence become existence, there is a way it happened.
Yes,
Yeah.
good point.
So,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know is
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the right answer.
Yeah.
But it's an admission. It's a statement
Sorry.
that you don't know the way.
Jacob. I don't know is never the right answer to the question that is
Of course
asked.
it's not, but it's a
Thank you.
denial to.
Right.
It's recognizing
No,
that you
it's-
don't know
it's-
which
it's
answer it
simply,
is.
It's simply saying, I don't have the right answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
but it's not
yeah.
the answer to the question.
Right, but no one has the answer to the question.
No,
That's
that would be wrong to say that.
That's-
No, that's. hang
You
on.
have another
No, come here.
faith-based statement.
You wait a minute.
Yeah.
Does the spaghetti monster exist?
No.
Wait, listen. Wait.
What do you mean, listener? You asked me the
Wait.
question.
Does the spaghetti monster exist?
Probably not.
Okay. Can the universe come from the spaghetti monster?
Probably not.
Then you've answered it.
What did you just prove? What did you even just do?
Something cannot come from nothing.
Unless they had a
It doesn't
supernatural being. A separate.
exist. Something cannot come from something that doesn't exist.
No, but a supernatural being
Yeah.
can create something.
So you've
out
answered
of
it
nothing.
yourself just right now.
Someone can
I
do.
don't even know what was
Yeah,
said.
but some in the
Something can go from
miraculous, in the
non-existence.
miraculous, it can happen.
But we're not
Someone
bringing
creates
with
it.
all due respect, we're not
Yeah.
bringing miracles here because the discussion is actually based on the foundations of naturalism
Yes,
in a
yeah,
way.
it's a
right?
naturalistic
We're
discussion.
trying to limit our.
You're limiting yourself.
No, what
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
saying is
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to limit so that we can have a meaningful discussion, something that we share in common, right? When we agree something, if I bring with my presupposition,
Yes.
then you will not agree with me in many things because that's for my presupposition.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have a common ground and have a discussion based on that, as you've realized. So this question about the particles coming into existence from non-existence, again, we haven't found a rational answer yet. It's simply saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you see, I don't know is not the answer, the right answer.
But
So what it means
Have we
then,
closed us off to the answer?
what we're discussing is the other alternative, which I'm proposing.
Okay.
It makes sense that something always exists. Because if it didn't always exist, the same question applies. How do you get non-existence from existence? It simply doesn't make any sense from whatever tools that we have.
Right. From my position, though, basically, there's no explanation that makes
Are
sense.
you, okay,
So,
do you agree science is based on rational foundation?
yes.
Right, so use that. The foundation of
but-
science tells us that the proposition that between the two binaries, the one that makes rational sense is the one that always exists.
But all science is not correct, not true.
I think you misunderstand the point of our discussion. With all due respect, we have been speaking for more than an hour maybe already, right?
I'm trying to give you the answer.
But it's not the answer. So the discussion is in a different tangent. With all due respect, sorry. I'm sure you're trying to put forward a particular argument. I'm not
It's a
providing...
conversation for another day, I think.
I mean, you're more than welcome to discuss. Please, you're more than welcome to discuss. But on this particular discussion, I am just saying, because we want to make it short. For us, we benefit from each other. But of course, for those who are listening and those who are going to be listening outside, because we agreed to be on the camera, we don't want to bore our viewers. Okay, so at least they can learn something from it. So we're going to summarize the other alternative. Once we finish, we can bring...
but what you have to say is, well...
Please, other alternatives...
Hang on. No, but what you have to say is, well, we could be wrong, you see. We could be wrong, you see, when you're making that...
I am saying, when we have come to two binaries, the position of being wrong is actually minimized already, because there is only two binaries. Because what we have, remember, what we have, the tools that we have, is the tools that we're using. If you don't trust your tools and say, anything is possible, everything is possible. That means actually you can turn into something that you're not, like a fence.
But say God now. Everything is possible with God, it says.
That's what you're saying. It's possible, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, in this kind of concept, everything is possible. That means any discussion, any argumentation, anything is meaningless.
Yes,
Absolutely. It has no meaning, because the words don't have meaning anymore. Because when I say death, it could mean potato. It could mean anything, right? So it will be a meaningless exercise. So we have to turn back to the upper position of the first binary option, which is something. Can someone who's smoking please don't smoke?
But you see that there's more meaning to life. Meaning to life, you have to think about.
My friend, once we finish in the next 5 minutes or so, you can have a discussion if you wish, but let's wrap this up, please. So, the other alternative, which I am saying, there has to be always something. What we say is, this always something is the one who eventually gave rise to our creation, our existence. You asked me a question before, did this creator God create from absolute nothingness, like ex nihilo, or did he create something, or did he create something of himself? What we say in Islam, Allah created this universe and everything with His word. He says, kun fayakun, be and it is. So it wasn't just nothing, this word of God involved, which the nature of which we may not even understand, but something is involved in the creative word of God. When you press the remote, a button on your remote, your TV switches on, your curtains opens or closes, and depending on how much you have, high tech at your home, right? Something happens when you press. When God says be kun, He uses His word. Something happens.
Yeah, there's a cause.
Yes? Something happens. So this is our position. And I would argue, perhaps in discussion from another time, that this position makes sense. More sense than any other position. In fact, there's only there's only one more position. Right? And it makes sense to them. That's why from there, if you then take from there and expand it, okay fine, if this is the case, most rational explanation. Who is this God that was always there? Who is this creator that's always there without the beginning? How is it so and so on? That's the next step to talk about. How is this always existent being exist? I mean, it has to exist because that's the rational explanation, but how so? We can discuss this and come to this conclusion. And this is why the Quran, one of the important an aspect the Quran highlights and focuses on is this understanding of this God, this being, which was always in existence. Al-Awwal and Al-Akhir. He's the first, meaning there's no first before him. Last, meaning there's nothing after him. He's the originator. Badi' as-samawati wal ard. He's the one who brought everything into existence. How this is explained in the Quran, so that we can reflect and say, actually, do these attributes or concepts or characteristics of this being make sense or not?